These are the most ridiculous, trippiest episodes from Rick and Morty. 13. Anything with acid is supposed to be trippy.
Holy shit! What kind of psycho?
This episode confronts a common theme, or should I say occurrence,
So you don't do anything unless it's original.
I don't do time travel.
throughout the show, which is Rick's inability to admit he was wrong. Oh yay, and also his deep-seated disdain for time travel, because of course, if Ant-Man and the Wasp can do it, then he's not interested at all.
Just say you can't do it! I won't! You won't say you can't? F you, Morty! You!
The Vat of Acid episode returns to the show's taste for existential exploration, as Rick offers Morty a do-over button in the form of a save place button, just like in the video games. Allowing Morty to restart and relive his experiences actually makes him the subject of great jealousy, as this is a gift every person on the planet would love to have. Like the multiversal TV, Morty here has the opportunity to see how things might have played out. The episode returns to the idea of consequences by offering Morty a way to avoid them rather conveniently.
Can you deliver? Oh, I've got something to deliver. Oh, cool, Morty Smith. But can you deliver? Holy shit, I could do anything.
A 5-minute montage of Morty's saves somewhat proves the saying, "We are who we are because of consequences." Learning, the episode argues, is because of our mistakes, from our failures, not in spite of them. This episode also expands on Rick's callousness through the revelation that Morty's supposed time travel, the do-over, was as all a facade. Morty wasn't time traveling, but rather killing an alternate version of himself and taking their place every time he reset, meaning that he had killed hundreds, if not thousands of iterations of himself across the multiverse.
I was just having fun.
So is Jeffrey Dahmer. Speaking of, time to pay the piper.
Yeah, you definitely need some kind of acid to be able to deal with whatever you've learned after this episode. 12. Definitely what you'd want to watch while tripping.
This is infinite TV from infinite universes. Look,
This shit is delicious.
The episode Rixty Minutes expands the multiversal stage set 2 episodes earlier by plunging deeper into the infinite possibilities of alternate realities.
Crazy stuff, yo. I'm Anson My Ice Johnson here at Anson My Ice Johnson's Electronics. I can't see a thing, and also I can't feel anything either. Did I mention that?
You could say that Rick and Morty started the multiverse way before the MCU, because this episode aired in 2014, a whole year before the second Avengers movie. The Smith family grapples with what their lives could have been through the lens of a TV set modified by Rick to provide all kinds of possibilities. They tune into other existences, watching multiversal channels, quickly becoming obsessed with their alternate versions.
You thought about getting an abortion? I'm the version of me that didn't do it, so you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Fixating on how things could have gone differently had they been on the other side.
You'd also be drinking wine, alone in a house full of exotic birds.
It's a meta-exploration of choice and consequence, laying the groundwork for the mind-bending narratives to come. What would have come of each of the Smith family's lives if they chose differently? What if Jerry and Beth never married? Or what if they chose different careers? Among many more alternatives. The conflict is only natural, thinking of what could have been, but the shenanigans are all the same, with Rick and Morty enjoying alternate reality versions of their favorite shows while the rest of their family bickers at one another. But those human experiences are taken to their most extreme forms, considering it's a Rick and Morty story. The episode lays the groundwork for the coming seasons, introducing the idea that the Rick and Morty we see each week might not be the original Rick and Morty we know, basically the Rick and Morty from the universe that was introduced to in season 1, thus allowing the show to play with genres, characters, and viewer expectations in whole new ways. The concept is grounded in reality, exploring the natural urge to wonder how things might have been, a family bickering with another, and our desire to escape through TV.
ooh, boy, looks like you guys have been checking out alternate lives and realizing you don't have it as good, huh? That's too bad.
11. Bamboozling all of us with a massive plot twist.
All right, Morty, whoever you smear this stuff on will fall in love with you. And only you, forever.
The word insane barely begins to scratch the surface of what Rick and Morty provides as a show. It's far too refined a word to describe the hit's straight-jacketed madness.
Take me to Morty. I'm Mr. Crowbar, and this is my friend, who is also a crowbar.
For 7 seasons on Adult Swim, the animated science fiction comedy series has made a name for itself, a concoction of utterly chaotic characters and absurdist storylines.
I wish that shotgun was my this.
If it were, you could call me Ernest Hemingway.
When it comes to the episode Rick Potion number 9, what I can say is that this early installment sets the tone for the series moving forward. It focuses on blending highbrow concepts and potty humor, all the while establishing the concept of the multiverse, which is a dizzying array of branching realities. It's this episode which established that Rick and Morty can be multiple things all at the same time. It's quite possibly one of the smartest shows on television, hiding behind a mask of belches, a murderous Pickle Rick,
I'm Pickle Rick!
and Morty's hyperbolic hormones. We witness Rick's not-so-successful attempt to create a love potion for Morty's school crush, which spirals into a pandemic of love-stricken mutants that would make even David Cronenberg gag. The episode showcases how every decision made results in a new branch universe, and how every choice results in a new reality. Each attempt to solve a problem only leads to more chaos and more realities, which make for the perfect storm of mistakes and mutations.
That's it, Rick, I'm pulling the lever. Look, you idiot!
Culminating in Rick and Morty abandoning their doomed reality for a fresh start in a parallel universe. The episode establishes the multiverse Rick and Morty explore throughout the series, such as worlds where snakes, bees, or even shrimp end up the dominant species on Earth. It also includes realities that construct entire religions revolving around Rick and Morty being their end, and multi-dimensional citadels filled with Ricks and Mortys living in their own society. It also has a whole messed up moment where Morty abandons his family in his original universe only to replace a dead Morty from another universe, all while that particular family has no idea of what happened. Yay, it truly makes your mind trip, doesn't it? The environmentalists won't like this one.
Surprise!
What are you doing here?
Disposal centers. Instead of tossing them into a regular waste bin. Screaming! You filthy murderer!
Tina, stop it!
There's only one solution!
This standout episode is by far both the most accessible and profound episode of the show in Season 5, while also making us feel what the heck it is we're watching. It is layers upon layers, metaphor upon metaphor, and mess upon mess, using Morty's latest romantic mishap, Planetina, to critique the relationship between modern conservationists and the concept of true environmentalism, riffing on the largely popular 90s cartoon Captain Planet, with heavy doses of symbolism and allegory.
Her away. Get away!
Whoa!
Security!
What did you do? Bring her back!
The episode challenges viewers to confront the uncomfortable truths that lurk beneath the surface of social movements.
Can we conclude our business? I'm eager to celebrate my purchase of Planetina over dinner.
Airs!
An individual character, I represent no group. Fire!
The idea of saving the planet is something politicized, marketed, sold, and campaigned for, which essentially deems the very concept of environmentalism redundant, as it does not serve the purpose if its own definition.
Hey folks, Planetina will be back in a moment. Until then, who wants a limited edition Funko for only $50?
The episode, through a level of hyperbole that only Rick and Morty can pull off, argues that true environmentalism requires dismantling every system we have in place as of today.
The system is broken, Morty. This is the only way I can save Earth.
Real environmentalism, the show argues, means radical change, which is something pretty much every environmental campaigner is not willing to do. This is exhibited as Planetina slashes tires, commits arson, and straight up assassinates members of Congress, as well as coal miners towards the end of the episode. Morty's love for Planetina, for environmentalism, fades when he realizes he can't handle the suffering which true activism demands.
If that's the only way, I don't want to be saved. Please go. I can't love you. I just can't.
I know this a highly political episode, and that doesn't exactly fit the whole vibe of being messy to the mind, but it does give you a lot to think about, doesn't it? 9. An episode that really makes you go, bro.
You might want to get that.
Dad, give the human whatever he wants. He knows where I live. He's crazy.
I have 800,000 kids. That's half of them.
Hey, Ape Man, I hope this was worth making a whole swarm of enemies.
It will be when I find whoever shit in my toilet.
This episode is a poignant look at loneliness and existential dread, but from a somewhat humorous angle, as it involves Rick on a toilet seat for a majority of its duration. This is a prime example of how the show's Trojan horse humor and puzzle box plots can collide for maximum effect to completely blow your mind. The title captures both aspects of the central theme. It does so by referencing literal potty humor.
Where do you want to die?
Susan, it's conference room 3 available. Using your toilet was nice, though. I'm a bit of a shy pooper. I'm ready when you are.
A toilet seat, and Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, which happens to be the tale of a man confronting his own mortality. Quite literally, this is both the most nihilistic and toilet humor-filled episode in the series.
Oh, so you like being alive. So why the f*** are you back here?
Which is definitely saying something for a show like Rick and Morty. Cantered around Rick's obsessive quest to protect his coveted toilet on a distant planet, the episode highlights the heavy toll of Rick's genius, while it also offers glimpses beneath his gruff and tough exterior. Rick experiences emotions that he rarely displays in order to maintain his reputation. They involve regret, remorse, and even empathy. Yes, you heard that right. Rick Sanchez can actually feel for others, despite what the show may otherwise lead you to believe. These are emotions he flushes away just as quickly as they surface. Hidden behind all the potty humor and all the ridiculousness, the episode's writers reveal how truly broken and scarred Rick is.
Hey, Tony's dad, this is, 8 billion in your local currency and,
It's hard losing a friend.
you.
What?
He's not my friend.
Exploring that trauma more and more in the following seasons. In the end, this episode is a testament to Rick's unwavering depression and nihilism, reminding us that being Rick Sanchez, mad scientist and super genius, isn't all it's cracked up to be. 8. Twist after twist will make your minds drift. M. Night Shyamalan has made a name for himself, being this weird director who always comes up with the craziest twists for his films. Well, it looks like he definitely caught the attention of Rick and Morty's writers, because they took that concept way too literally while making this episode.
Oh yes, Morty, it's almost unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. M. Night Shyam Aliens definitely rises to the challenge of emulating both the fun concepts and the trippy premise of The Matrix, which is perfect considering the main objectives of the show's creators. Rick and Morty realize they're living in a simulation made by alien scammers.
We're inside a huge simulation chamber on an alien spaceship.
Wait a minute, what?
When strange happenings start cropping up, like an anthropomorphized Pop-Tart driving off in a toaster, among other rather odd occurrences.
Oh really, Morty? Are you sure you haven't seen that somewhere in real life before?
No, I haven't seen that.
Rick then hashes out a plan to crash the system by riling up a crowd for their impromptu musical performance, which is absurd enough by itself, but actually ends up working. Things only get crazier, as Jerry is shown living obliviously in this increasingly glitchy simulated reality, which is good enough to fool him at least.
That's the best I've ever had in my life. It's too good.
He eventually earns a supposedly coveted Appley Award for the best Apple-related campaign, before finally getting his wake-up call in the real world when he gets fired for the exact same idea. Yikes!
You're fired. Man, how does a guy like that go home and have with his wife?
7. Messing with time has its consequences. The show's creators, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon, have time and again expressed their distaste for the idea of time travel, or at least as an effective plot device in Rick and Morty, simply because they think of it as a lazy effort to entertain their audience.
Were either of you guys uncertain about anything just now?
Oh man.
They make their reasoning quite apparent with this convoluted and mind-bending opening romp from Season 2.
I thought you learned that by now.
In this thriller, Rick's gadgetry manages to cause rifts in time that continue to pile up one on top of the other, right until things get way too out of control. This is conveyed by the rapidly splitting screens showing slightly different alternative realities.
Actually, make it a flathead. Oh, shit.
Which are more than enough to make you question your own sanity as well. Things continue to get more haywire and unstable as time passes by.
Get down! I told you! He's a psycho! He's lost it! The time fracture must have made him crazy!
Much like the plot of this episode itself, to top it all off, a scrotum face creature seeks to stabilize these fractures by lacing the leads with an alien collar.
You fixed it!
Yeah, I did. Now keep those collars on so you don't break your weak-ass time again.
This one tends to take multiple viewings to absorb all the chaos unfolding, but even if you've watched it once, I'd say you're good to trip for at least the next 2 hours.
Yeah, I like it this way. I'm not stupid.
6. There's a lot more to life than a pet dragon. On the surface, a plot involving Morty getting a pet dragon would seem pretty tame and typical.
As you command.
Okay, see you soon. This is fun.
At least by the extremely insane standards of Rick and Morty. Yet there are a number of absurdities and generally weird moments during this romp that make you wonder why you'd even doubt this show in the first place.
I am so sorry. That is a total violation.
Yeah, no
One need only watch the soul bond ritual between Rick and the dragon, laced with awkward shady undertones.
My soul! Oh, yeah. I'm a dragon.
To know we're in for an interesting, or at the very least obscene ride here. Then there's the subplot involving Jerry engaging with a talking cat to Florida.
Why can you talk again?
It's not important, Jerry.
Okay, but why Florida?
Because they don't ask questions.
Who's adamant to get there despite revealing nothing about its motives or background. To top this off, Jerry and Rick are eventually shown its history through vision goggles, only to be utterly horrified and disturbed. Nothing is shown to the viewers, who are quite naturally left to their imaginations to fill in the details, and I personally don't mind that kind of ambiguity.
And that's the end of the Morty Gets a Dragon episode.
5. Because one season is never enough. This amusing sequel to the previous entry I mentioned at number 12 manages to be even sillier and more insane than its predecessor.
Be careful, Morty. If that guy catches you with the box of his eye holes, he comes bursting in through a window and just starts kicking out of you.
This is thanks in part to the subplot involving a conflict with Jerry as to whether or not he should donate his arm member to an alien civil rights leader.
Shrimply Pibble's life can be saved if we replace his heart with your human.
Now, even though the rapid-fire sketches are just as hilariously strange as ever here,
Oh, you know what? I gotta laugh at myself here. I'm having a little laugh at myself.
they definitely take it to another level when we learn of what the primary premise is. As far as the actual interdimensional cable goes, it kicks things off with a wrestling match featuring a man versus a regular old car before truly venturing into mind-bending weirdness. Examples include the opposite news, a killer octopus man, and a commercial for tiny food featuring large-headed people. Because why not, right? It is Rick and Morty after all. But yes, Jerry's ordeal has got to be the weirdest situation any man could ever be put into.
Which would you prefer between the XP20 and the XP20 XS?
I'd prefer my own. And so should you.
4. You'll never look at a pickle the same way again. If you want to know what's weird about this particular episode, you need only look at the basic premise of the plot.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! Big reveal, I'm a pickle. What do you think about that?
Which is that Rick Sanchez, the smartest man in the whole multiverse, turns himself into a pickle. Yes, this is all you need to know that this is going to be quite the strange watch. It's an action-laced episode featuring a bored Rick trying to overcome a self-inflicted pickling transformation. While it's a goofy premise, viewers can't help but get invested as Rick gains power, overcomes obstacles, and fights off foes that include a mysterious assassin and the Russian mafia. However, the episode somehow manages to get even more bizarre when Rick arrives at a therapist's office, still in pickle form.
You must be Rick.
He ends up having a rather deep and introspective talk, bringing some of his odd behavior to a harsh light. But trust me when I say that's not the main point of focus here.
I'm a pickle! I'm Pickle Rick!
3rd, an episode that will make you doubt your own sanity. Those who have watched the film Total Recall will recognize some similarities in this homage, right down to its memory-altering premise, which happens on a meta level with the audience too, if you're to consider the opening sequence and highly intense final scene.
You can't kill me!
You're right. Kill Pencil Fester.
But once again, Harmon and Roiland run full throttle with this idea, adding their typically zany brand of Rick and Morty flair. In the episode, alien parasites have infiltrated the Smith house, which is kinda normal for a seasoned fan of the show.
Now let's go, Morty. We've got a lot of friends and family to exterminate.
What's interesting is that they have the ability to inject their own, often twisted memories into the minds of their inhabitants, and then spread from the memories. This leads to a house brimming with colorful characters, hilarious flashbacks, and a highly chaotic shootout. The episode also introduces the supposedly real thing named Mr. Poopy Butthole. I still don't know if the creators are gonna come out and reveal him to have been a gag this whole time.
Whatever you want, Rick, we're here to help.
Thanks, Mr. Poopy Butthole. I always could count on you.
2. All the Ricks and Mortys of the world. With this Season 3 romp, also known as Tales of the Citadel, Rick and Morty pulls a fast one on its viewers by teasing and introducing the setup to what seems to be a trip to Atlantis. But what follows is one of the most epic and surprisingly emotional episodes yet.
I want to be a regular kid. I want to go to school and throw balls around and...
It really plays out like a cinematic action drama more than a silly animated comedy, bouncing between a number of different stories involving varieties of Ricks and Mortys. It takes place in the Citadel of Ricks, which has apparently blossomed into a full-blown society ridden with crime, corruption, and other dramatic happenings.
Hey, did you end up getting a new job? Yeah, I did. Assassinating you! Oh!
The episode is wrought with zany humor, movie references, and even socio-political commentary all in one measure.
I don't see a divide between Ricks and Mortys.
Oh, shocker.
1. A story you'll never understand. The showrunners have topped themselves yet again when it comes to crazy anthology romps. This one features Rick and Morty on a train known as the Story Train riding through space, which is brimming with strange characters and surreal anomalies.
I told you if you found me again, identify yourself.
I didn't know it was you.
How did you not recognize me? Didn't you create the disguises?
The Story Train, as it turns out, is a literal story device powered by Rick and Morty's adventure-laden plots, and apparently lots of funny callbacks.
I'm a bird and a person and more.
Just when viewers think they've managed to somewhat wrap their heads around what's happening, the plot takes another left turn and dives into a completely unrelated sketch only loosely tied to the main thread, represented by this chaotic train.
Never forget the highest truth of all. You're getting your ass kicked on a train.
Long story short, the Story Train is real, as a toy train Morty bought for Rick.
Wow, where did you get this thing?
The Citadel of Rick's gift shop. Do you really like it? I didn't think you'd even care.
Do you agree with me on this? Let me know in the comments if you want to see another topic. Okay then, see you in the next one.